Welcome to Thursday's edition of CNN Student News. It's good to see you. I'm Carl Azus at the CNN Center. First up, at least 20 people were injured yesterday at a high school in Pennsylvania, some of them very seriously, and one student is being held by police. They say it was a stabbing attack by a male student. A school principal and a resource officer were somehow able to stop and handcuff the attacker. As investigators work to figure out why this happened, stories of rescues are already coming out from Franklin Regional Senior High School. At one hospital where victims were taken, a doctor said because a female student acted quickly and applied pressure to the wounds of a male victim, she might have saved his life. President Obama arrived at Fort Hood yesterday. Last week, the military base in Texas saw its second mass shooting in 5 years, and yesterday's event was a memorial service for the victims of that.
Today, 4 American soldiers are gone. 4 Army families are devastated. As Commander-in-Chief, I'm determined that we will continue to step up our efforts to reach our troops and veterans who are hurting, to deliver to them the care that they need, and to make sure we never stigmatize those who have the courage to seek help.
Our next story today, the world's biggest automaker is making a big recall. 5 of them, actually. We're talking about Toyota. 27 models are affected by this, from the Camry, Corolla, Matrix, and Highlander to the Subaru Trezia and Pontiac Vibe, which were built by Toyota. This includes cars made between 2004 and 2013, a total of more than 6 million vehicles around the world. 2 million of them are in North America. There are several parts Toyota plans to inspect and possibly replace. Seat rails, engine starters, windshield wiper motors, airbag cables. Though Toyota says it doesn't know of any crashes or injuries caused by problems with these parts. This is Toyota's second major worldwide recall this year.
Time for the shout out. Which U.S. president signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law? Was it John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, or Gerald Ford? You've got 3 seconds. Go. President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law using at least 75 different pens that he handed out to civil rights leaders and supporters. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
It's the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. Its goal to end discrimination based on someone's race, religion, what country they came from, or what gender they were. And that extended from businesses and schools to voting booths and even bathrooms. The act was passed after one of the longest debates in Senate history. In the 1960s, it was as controversial as it was historic.
The nation was in turmoil. Young, predominantly black protesters against public discrimination on buses, in bathrooms, and at lunch counters were beaten and hosed down in the South. America's very democracy was at stake. And then President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Lyndon Baines Johnson was sworn in and decided to stake his early presidency on passing the Civil Rights Act.
No memorial oration or eulogy could more eloquently honor President Kennedy's memory.
But the politics were as nasty on Capitol Hill as the prejudices on the streets of the South. Southern Democrats who felt their way of life was being threatened threw up hurdle after hurdle in the House. Across the Capitol, senators like Robert Byrd and Strom Thurmond filibustered, trying to talk the bill to death. Richard Goodwin worked in the White House for Kennedy and then for President Johnson.
He was from the South, and he had seen firsthand, of course, the poor blacks and the poor Mexican Americans and others who were not getting a fair break in the society.
Urging swift passage for the bill.
LBJ not only supported the bill, he also knew how to get it passed on Capitol Hill.
Johnson he was the master of the Senate. And as majority leader, he knew where all the bodies were buried. He knew what everybody's weaknesses were.
So the new president worked the phones, calling all sides.
He would be on the phone with Dr. King. Then he would call Governor Wallace. Then he'd call Senator Dirksen. And then he'd be on the phone with Richard Russell. He was pulling out every stop.
He'd call them in the morning. He'd call them at night. I mean, there's a story of calling a senator at 2 in the morning And he said, I hope I didn't wake you up. And the senator said, no, I was just lying here on the bed hoping my president would call.
Johnson's arm twisting worked. The bill fought its way through Congress. The filibuster was broken by Republicans and Democrats.
Warm applause from members.
With his signature, LBJ made the Civil Rights Act of 1964 the law of the land, following a groundswell of public support after violence and hate had tested the nation.
Financial Literacy Month. Okay, it might not sound like the most exciting month-long event to some of you, but this April we're working to make it relevant. The terms we're giving you in our coverage will matter to many of you who are college-bound. Consider, if you will, APR, annual percentage rate. It applies to car loans and home mortgages, but it also factors into college loans. And if you get one of those, you don't just pay back the money you borrow, you pay it back with interest. And the annual percentage rate includes that interest and any other fees as a percentage. That's the cost of the loan that's tacked on to the money you owe. Schools from 3 states, all connected, share today's roll call. We'll start in Union, Kentucky with the Jaguars. These cats are watching from Randall K. Cooper High School. 1 state east in West Virginia, we've got the Generals making the roll. They're online in Winfield. And 1 more state over in Morganza, Maryland, it's all about the Braves. They're checking us out from Chopticon High School. The Greek philosopher Plato is credited with the phrase, necessity is the mother of invention. And that's not always done from scratch. Sometimes it's born out of looking at something in everyone's garage, like a bicycle, and asking, how can we reinvent this to make it easier to take to work? That kind of inventive thinking helps keep a British company rolling.
From bike hire schemes to cycle superhighways, London offers plenty of incentives for a pedal-powered commute. The number of those cycling to work here has more than doubled in the past decade, and that hasn't gone unnoticed by the UK's top bike maker. Brompton Bicycle has spent 25 years cornering a unique market for those wanting the wheels without the baggage.
Handlebar pops up like that, saddle comes up, little flick, and off you go.
Less than 10 seconds?
Less than 10 seconds. Easy peasy.
The managing director, Will Butler-Adams, is leading a massive company expansion. He's taken this one small family-run firm to 44 countries, and they can't get enough of this foldable bike. The business has been growing 20% year on year, generating sales of $45 million. Most of that demand is from overseas markets, and it seems they don't mind the hefty starting price. How important is innovation to your brand?
If you, with your experience and with the advantage that you had from being the first, do not leverage that advantage, do not use that knowledge to keep moving faster, you will be consumed by the competition. The only way you can beat that is by using your brains, using your knowledge and your experience and your understanding to out-innovate. And if we don't do that, we will not be here in 10 years' time.
Isa Suarez, CNN, London.
I had a Chihuahua growing up, was a doggone great pet, and fortunately, a homebody. You can't really say that about Speedy. Oh, he looks small and slow here, but he once ran away from his owner's house, and it took 2 years for Speedy to come back. After being spotted near a college campus, some students took him to a shelter where his microchip revealed where he should have been. Another woman believes she might have cared for him in the interim. So his story is really a tale of 2 Speedies. He's as cute as his owner says he is, so it's clear why she wanted him back. I'm not going to top that one today, even if the possibilities are endless. We'll yap at you again on Friday's show.